Welcome to Kat Sarah Yoga. I'm Kat, thank you for joining me. This is Calm Core, a focused yoga class to work on building strength in your abdominal muscles and your back, as well as giving those muscles a really nice stretch. Enjoy the class.
Find a comfortable cross-legged seat on your mat. You may like to sit on a yoga block or cushion because that gives your pelvis a little lift and makes sitting on the floor cross-legged a bit more easeful, especially if you have tight hips or a tight lower back. So you could try sitting up on a block. And then let your eyes be closed. Allow your awareness to scan over your body and notice how you are feeling. Just noticing if there's any areas of tension in your body, accepting and acknowledging any sensations you feel. Notice the earth underneath you, feeling grounded, feeling supported. Feel that your lower spine is wonderfully long and lengthened, and that your shoulders are relaxing down away from your ears. Jaw is relaxed. Be aware of the sensation of your breath, observing your breath as it flows in and out. Today's class will focus on core strength, but also calming movements. So a really calm core class. And we'll start with some abdominal breathing. So we're just connecting with that area around the core. Again, feel that your back muscles are lengthening. So think of each vertebra at the lower spine lifting and lengthening away from its neighbor underneath it. And breathe down into your belly. Feel every inhalation, filling the belly with breath. And feel every exhalation that you send every last drop of breath out from the very depths of the belly. So you may notice a sensation of expansion on the inhalation as you breathe down to the depths of the belly, even thinking of breathing into the hips and the pelvis, and maybe you'll feel your relaxed belly expand. And as you exhale and you visualize that you're sending every single last drop of breath out from the very depths of the belly, maybe you'll feel your tummy naturally drawing in towards your spine, even feeling your pelvic floor lifting, so those deep layers of the pelvic floor lifting up like an aeroplane drawing its wheels up and in. And you may find this happens automatically on the exhalation as you send every single last drop of breath out from the very depths of the belly, ready to make space for a new inhalation, which you will breathe all the way down to the very depths of the belly. Maybe on the exhalation you will consciously draw the tummy in, consciously lift the deep layers of the pelvic floor, thinking of hollowing out the belly and drawing in from inner hip bone to inner hip bone. So that will make that sensation even more powerful as you send all the breath out. And that sensation of the engagement of the lower abdominals and the lift of the pelvic floor is Mula Bandha, the root lock of energy. And here as we breathe, readying ourselves for calm core yoga, we are inhaling to a relaxed belly and exhaling, feeling our Mula Bandha either naturally engaged or giving it that little bit of extra conscious engagement. When we start doing some of our core work today in the class, you're going to keep that Mula Bandha engaged. So really observe that feeling of strength in the core, that sensation of creating intra-abdominal pressure around the spine and a lift in the pelvic floor. So we're supporting the spine when we engage that Mula Bandha, but you're also lifting because you don't want to be squeezing and pushing things down. We want to be lifting up, drawing in. So feel that sensation, observing an inhalation, relaxing, releasing, And exhaling, lifting and drawing in. Place your fingertips down by your sides. Feel your shoulders sliding down away from your ears and your lower spine wonderfully long. Inhale, reaching one arm up, and at the top of the inhale, we just come into that side lean. Exhale, back to center, place the hand down. Inhale, reaching the other arm up, and exhale, down. Continuing with the breath, so nice and slow. At the top of the inhale, we've got the arm raised and we're breathing wide and full into the side ribs. So it's a wonderful opportunity to take in a lovely deep breath and stretch the intercostal rib muscles that are in between the ribs, and this will help to increase your lung capacity generally, so you'll be able to breathe deeper in daily life. We're inhaling, reaching up, keeping that top shoulder sliding down the back though, so try to lengthen the fingertips up and over as the shoulder blade slides down. That takes practice. So the more you practice yoga, the more you'll get to know your body, and the more these subtle activations will make sense. Make that the last round, bringing palms to touch in front of your heart. Inhale, reaching your hands up, and exhale, twist from the base of the spine, let your hands drift down. Inhale, reach up back to center. Exhale, twisting the other way, hands come down wherever they naturally settle. Continue with your breath. Inhale, reaching up, long spine. Exhale, the twist spirals up the spine from the base to the tip, where it meets your skull as you look out over the back shoulder, and the hands float down. We're warming up the muscles of the torso, the core, the lower back, the shoulders, getting mobility in the spine. So making this the last round, take your time. Bring palms to touch and draw your hands down through the center line of the body. So let's extend out through the right leg. Move the flesh of the right buttock out the way and shift your inner hip bones just that little bit so they point towards the right leg. Bring hands either side of your right leg. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, inquiring into a tip forward at the hips. So you might not go very far, and that's absolutely fine. You're not rounding your shoulders, but in fact you're keeping them drawing back and down, as if you could slide your shoulder blades into your back pockets, and your heart feels quite lifted and lengthened. So we're thinking more of hinging at the hips and tummy towards the thigh than shoulders towards the floor. Bend your right knee. This will allow your thigh to come in towards your belly, and it will also allow you to tip forward more at the hips. So it will allow that mobility by releasing the hamstring. You can slide the flesh of the buttock back out the way. Think of your sit bone extending out behind you like it was on a roller skate sliding out behind you. When your belly is on your thigh, so bend your knee a bit more if you need to, you can round your shoulders over. So you can't quite see my toes here, you can just see the tips of them, but I'm curling my toes towards me, broad through the ball of the foot, as if I could send energy out through a spread out ball of the foot. So my leg is engaged and active, and my belly is resting on the thigh. So when you round your shoulders, your upper body becomes like a heavy weight, and that draws on the muscles of the back, so helps to extend, lengthen and stretch them, but we want to make sure the back is supported. Lengthen up, keeping a little bit tipped forward on your sit bones, and inhale as you reach your left arm up and over. Imagine a straight line coming out the top of your right toes, and you're reaching up for the very top of that line. If you want to go further, you can slide your hand down that imaginary line. Reach up and come back to center, extending out your left leg into wide angle pose. You might inquire into tipping forward to the front edges of the sit bones, but not rounding the lower back. Notice it's a hinge forward at the hips here. Lengthen back up if you did tip forward, and bring your right foot in. Swivel your hips a little bit so that the inner hip bones face towards the left leg. Left leg active, toes curled towards you, broad through the ball of the foot. Inquiring into tipping forward. Bending the left knee helps to release the hamstring and will allow you to tip forward to the front edges of the sit bones a little bit more. And when your belly is firmly supported by your thigh, then you can round your shoulders over, Your belly will be on the thigh, and therefore it's supporting the back muscles as they relax and lengthen and stretch your shoulders and head. Relax your forehead resting upon your knee, but not worrying if the shape of your anatomy means your forehead doesn't rest on your knee. The important thing is that the belly is resting on the thigh. So then lengthening slowly back up again, reaching your right arm up and over. Imagine a straight line coming out the top of the left toes. You're reaching up to the very top of that line. Think of shining your chest and your tummy towards the sky. You don't have to straighten out your left leg for this. You can keep a little bend in that left leg if it helps you to feel more comfortable. To deepen this stretch, imagining that straight line coming out the top of the left toes, slide your top hand down that line a little. Reaching back up, coming back to center, extending both legs out again into wide angle pose. Remember, you can bend your knees here in wide angle pose, which will actually allow you to tip forward a little bit more easily to the front edges of the sit bones. I've got my legs straight here, but it would be okay if you had your knees bent a lot. That would be absolutely fine. The heart is lifted, so notice how my shoulders aren't rounding. I'm drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Lengthen up and ensure you're definitely centered on your sit bones and your lower back is nice and straight, otherwise the next bit will be uncomfortable. So bend the knees up quite a lot if you need to. I'm able to sit with my legs quite straight here, but just make sure you are centered on the sit bones, and do sit up on a block if you need to feel more comfortable. Extend your arms out, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. Inhale, exhale as you twist your upper body. Keep extending from fingertip to fingertip. Inhale back to center and exhale, twist the other way. Don't worry if you don't go very far, that's fine. Inhale back to center and exhale, twist. Inhale back to center, continue with the breath. It's very important that you imagine you have like a steel rod in between each fingertip to fingertip, so that you're not dragging your arms across the front of your body. Because if you do that, you're not twisting as much through the spine, you're just moving the arms, and you won't feel the stretch across the front of the body that you would feel if you stay extended fingertip to fingertip, imagining you've got that steel rod across the front of the body, so you can't collapse in onto that steel rod. Make sure you're not rounding in your lower spine at all. If you are tipping back on your sit bones and rounding in your spine, this will feel very uncomfortable. So do sit up on a block and or bend your knees more so that you are nice and straight through your spine. Because although it's hard work, it shouldn't feel painful. So it should feel just like a nice, strong challenge, and you can really feel your core working and getting that stretch across the front of the body. And also for those little muscles in the back that connect into the spine in the thoracic area. This gives them a nice stretch too, helping to relieve tension in between the shoulder blades. Make that the last round, release your arms down and give your shoulders some nice circles. A few easy circles in each direction. Then using your hands to help you, closing your knees together like a book, and turn yourself so that you're facing towards the narrow edge of your mat. Hug in your knees, balancing on the back edges of your sit bones. You might keep your feet on the floor here for extra balance. Round your shoulders, bring your nose towards your knee, and just curl up here in cosmic egg pose. Return your feet to the floor. Lengthen up through your whole back. Strong. Draw your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor. Bring your hands behind your thighs and rock to the back edges of the sit bones, but keep your back very straight and flat here. So no rounding, you're really lengthening up. You can keep your toes down towards the floor, even keeping the tips of the toes on the floor to help with balance, or you can raise your legs up here like I have with shins parallel to the floor. Either stay like that, keep balancing, or for extra challenge, we're rolling the spine down, so you can round a bit through the spine. Straighten out the legs a bit into low boat, coming all the way back up to the back edges of the sit bones with a straight back and bent knees. Return feet to the floor, give your knees a big hug, round over in cosmic egg, maybe lifting your toes off the floor for that little bit of extra balance challenge. Bring your feet to the floor, straighten out through your spine, making your back really straight, coming to the back edges of the sit bones. You can stay sitting up quite tall, or you can tip back a little further for more challenge. Make sure you're not rounding into your lower back. Inhale and exhale, twist through your thoracic spine. You could imagine you're holding a tray and you're offering the tray to one side, then coming back to center and offering the tray to the other side. So we're inhaling to center, exhaling into the twist. Make sure your hands aren't getting in the way of your legs, so you can kind of tilt that tray up towards you, just an imaginary tray. Or you can even bring palms to touch in the Namaste position, or clasping your opposite elbow in front of you in Cossack arms. So whatever feels comfortable. We're isolating this twist to the thoracic spine. Lower body stays nice and still, with tummy drawn in and pelvic floor lifted, so you feel really strong through the core. If you do want more challenge, lift up the feet so you're in your boat balance, very strong through the core. Well done, you're doing great. This is challenging. Keep breathing, exhale, twist, maybe blow out through the lips to help blow any tension away from the body. If your abs are shaking, then stop. That's a little bit too much for you, but it's okay if you feel a bit of a burn. Well done, make that the last round. And moving over into child pose. Come to hands and knees, then bottom on the heels, belly on the thighs, forehead on the mat, arms reaching out in front of you. Soften and relax everything. Feel that difference between the engaged core that you've just had and the relaxed core that you have now. Reaching your arms out in front of you, come up to hands and knees, curl the toes under and send your bottom up and back into downward facing dog. Paddle your feet, dropping alternate heels, feeling changing stretches in the backs of the legs here. Round your spine on purpose, bringing your weight forward and straightening out into plank pose. Exhale, lower yourself down to the floor, hopefully in one long piece. Inhale, push into the hands, engage the fronts of the thighs and shine the heart forward into upward facing dog. Exhale, push into the hands and send your bottom up and back into downward facing dog. Paddle your feet, come into stillness. Inhale, and as you exhale, round your spine, suck your tummy in, bring your weight forward. Keep that tummy sucked in, shoulders over hands directly. Plank position. Take a nice breath in, keeping the core strong. Exhale, lower down in one long piece. Inhale, push up, engage the fronts of the thighs. Shine your heart forward. And exhale, send your bottom up and back into downward facing dog again. Paddling the feet, dropping alternate heels down. And then coming to stillness, stretching your tailbone up and back. Inhale, exhale, wave through the spine, back into plank. For an inhale, then exhale, lower down in one long piece. Inhale, engage the thighs, lift the heart, push into the hands, stretch out through the heels, up dog. Exhale into downward facing dog to paddle out the feet. Inhale onto hands and knees, and exhale your bottom to your heels, belly to the thighs, forehead to the mat into child pose. Inhale, slowly rolling up through the spine, coming up to sitting. In a moment, we're going to do a camel pose. This is a beautiful stretch for the front of the body and an uplifting back bend. I'm going to show you the modified gentle version first, and then go into a slightly more challenging version, and then the full version of camel pose, where the head is released back and the front of the neck stretches. The full version of camel pose is very challenging, and I would only recommend it if you have a previous yoga practice, good flexibility in your back, and definitely no neck problems. I would also recommend you fast forward a little bit ahead in this video to watch the way that you get out of camel pose safely, so that you know what you're doing when the time comes. Then rewind it back again to this point, and I'll talk you through camel pose. Suck tummy in, lift pelvic floor, feel strong through the core, and rise up into a high kneeling position, lifting bottom off the heels. Knees are underneath the hips directly. Place your hands into your sacroiliac joint and spread that joint as you push the hips forward and lift up your heart. Imagine that your thighs are rolling in towards each other. The back of the neck is long. I'm not letting the head flop back. If you do want a little bit more challenge, you can reach your right hand down towards your right heel and the left arm up. Suck tummy in, lift pelvic floor, draw yourself back to center. Swap arms, left hand down, right arm up. And again, notice how I'm not flopping my head back. I'm still long through the back of the neck. Reaching that right arm up. This is quite a deep back bend. Really think of a long lower back. Then strong through the core, really suck that tummy in, come back to center. If you want to come into a full camel pose, I would only recommend this if you've done camel pose and lots of yoga before and have no neck problems. You can reach both hands down to both heels and let the head roll back. Keep pushing the hips forward and lifting the heart. When we come back in a moment, we're going to lead from the base of the spine and let the neck follow. So engaging your core, and from the base of the spine, stacking each vertebra one at a time upon its neighbor underneath it until you're upright again and the head comes to center. Inhale, reach your left arm up and exhale over into a side lean. Inhale, reach up and exhale back to center. Inhale, right arm up, exhale into a side lean. Inhale, reach up and exhale back to center, then bottom down to the heels. Widen out your knees, big toes together, and extend forward on the mat, reaching long. Maybe give your lower back a little massage. You've just done a pretty deep back bend, and now this is a forward bend, so a counter pose. So stretching out through the lower back, so just enjoy that lovely relaxation feeling all across the sacroiliac area where the spine meets the pelvis. You should feel some stretching around there now. Make sure your jaw is relaxed, your face relaxed, and just breathing deeply, releasing into the mat. When you're ready, rise up to hands and knees and align the knees back underneath the hips directly. Inhale and exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. If unable to get your shoulder all the way to the floor, then just place a cushion or some yoga blocks under your shoulder and your head to support them. If you can rest your head and shoulder on the floor, that's great. Just sliding your right hand closer to your left inner elbow, and you can push into the floor gently to roll that top shoulder back. For even more challenge, reach your top arm all the way up into the air. For more challenge, stretch your right leg out, pushing out through the heel, resting on the ball of the foot, the curled under toes. Engage your core, try to find a balance here. For more challenge, lifting your right foot up off the earth. So it's the left shoulder on the floor, the right leg up, and you're in a deep twist here. Well done. This is an advanced version of thread the needle pose. A wonderful balance. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your neck relaxed, your core engaged, stretching out through those right toes and grounding into the left knee and the top of the left foot. For a front shoulder stretch in your top shoulder, you can bring that hand behind your back, the back of the hand in the small of the back, even working into that left hip crease. And roll that top shoulder back, so a brilliant deltoid stretch there. Stretch your top arm up again, well done. We're going to lower the top foot down and lower your top hand down, then bring your right knee to the earth. Press back up to hands and knees. Curl your toes under, turn your tailbone up, shine your chest forward, accentuating the curve of the lower back. Then round the spine, releasing your neck, let your head hang down and come back to a flat back position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips directly. Inhale, exhale, Twisting, threading your right arm underneath your left armpit. Bring your left hand towards your right inner elbow on the floor, pressing into that hand to help roll the top shoulder back. More of a stretch, reach your top arm up. Keep rolling that top shoulder back. For more balance challenge, extend your left leg out, straight toes curled into the mat, pushing out through the heel. Suck your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor. For more balance challenge, lift your top leg off the floor. Just keep it at hip height, parallel to the floor, not any higher. Balancing here. It's okay if you're a bit wobbly. As you can see, I am here. If you want more of a shoulder opener, you can take your top hand behind you. So the back of the hand comes into the small of the back or even the right hip crease. And when you're ready, reaching your top hand up again, returning your foot to the floor, your knee under the hip, your hands to the floor, coming back to hands and knees for a few up cat, down cats. Inhaling, shining the chest through to up cat. Exhaling, rounding the spine into down cat. Then a few disco cats, shining the chest forward. Turn to look over your shoulder and tuck your tailbone under as the forward bend flows up the spine and your head comes to center, so you end up in down cat. Inhale, shine through to up cat. Turn to look over the other shoulder, tuck your tailbone under. Feel the forward bend flowing up the spine as your head comes to center, hanging down with the neck relaxed. And inhaling, shining the chest through to up cat again. Exhale, turn to look over your shoulder, tuck the tailbone under. Feel the forward bend flowing up the spine, ending up in down cat or round cat. Head hanging down, head like a piece of fruit hanging ripe on a tree. Inhale, shine to up cat. Exhale, turn to look over the other shoulder and continuing with the breath. Don't worry too much about these movements, make it kind of freestyle. You could also think of these as barrel rolls, like you're inside a barrel and you're trying to touch your tummy, then your side, then your back to the edges of the barrel. You'll feel lots of lovely stretches all in the back muscles as the position of the back changes. Finish up your rounds here, taking your time so that you've turned your head to the right, then to the left an even amount of times if you can. And whenever you're ready, curl your toes under and send your bottom up and back into downward facing dog pose. Take your time once you're here, just enjoying this pose, maybe paddling out through the feet. We're aiming to be a straight line from hands to tailbone, so when you come into stillness in downward dog, it's fine to have your knees bent if that allows you to point your tailbone up and back and make sure that you're not rounding through the spine once you come into stillness. And for more challenge, raising your right leg up into a one-legged dog. Float that leg as high as you can, then bend at the knee, bringing the right foot towards the left buttock, opening your hips to the right. Place the foot down, paddle your feet again. And let's do the other side. Keep the hands nice and grounded. Stretch the left leg up and bend the knee, bringing the left foot towards the right buttock, rotating the hips up to the right. A nice stretch for the front of the hips there. Straighten up your leg again, place it down to the floor. Paddle out your feet. Well done. Coming back into your downward facing dog just for a moment of stillness as you stretch your tailbone up and back. On your inhale, slowly come down to hands and knees with lots of control. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat and exhale your bottom onto your heels, belly to the thighs, forehead to the mat, and relaxing everything. Relax your core, relax lips, teeth and tongue. Melt, soften and relax into the mat. Taking one more lovely deep breath here, and then engaging your core and slowly rolling up to sitting. Come into a cross-legged seat. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing out behind you. Lift your heart, Lift your chin to expose the throat, but not letting the head tip back. And find a nice opening stretch for your chest. Coming back to center, a few shoulder shrugs and circles. Exhale, drop your chin towards the chest. Inhale, look up and over one shoulder. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, look up and over the other shoulder. Drop chin to the chest, and you might want to repeat that again or even complete the circle. So we exhale the chin towards the chest, then circle the chin up and around, keeping the back of the neck long. Chin towards the chest, circle up and around. Beautiful circles with the neck, not craning the neck back, but keeping the back of the neck long as you do that top part of the circle. And then once the chin comes down towards the chest, we'll circle back up the other way. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, chin towards the chest, that nice stretch in the back of the neck. Last circle here, releasing any last bits of tension from the neck and bringing the head back to center. Nice tall spine, bring palms to touch. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please do subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything to me, and I will see you on the next video.